早上好，欢迎来到 PG Connect's Shanghai Jam. Okay, I'm afraid that's as far as it goes. Good morning and welcome to all of you, including our honoured guests, to PG Connect's Summit Shanghai in association with My Games. My name is Chris James. I'm actually the chairman these days of Steel Media, the company behind these conferences. Oh, there you go. As well as leading media such as PocketGame.com, PocketGameBiz, AI Game Changers, Newsletter, Mobile Games Awards, and many other things. For the last few years, we've been part of a wider family, the Enthusiast Gaming Group, based out of North America. They run a lot of properties around the game space, including partnerships with sports leagues, including PC games websites like Icy Veins, tools for hardcore gamers like UGG, and the Sims Resource, amongst other things. And there's some of what they do. And pretty much everything Steel Media and Enthusiast do is about connecting, celebrating, and supporting the games industry, whatever format or genre it happens to adapt, and wherever in the world it happens to be. And talking about in the world, over the last 12 years or so, we have travelled the world running various events. This is our fifth PGC event of the year, and our second instalment of the pre-China Joy Shanghai event. We've been on to around 18 different cities. We've united over 75,000 delegates. We have about 120 countries represented, over 170,000 meets. We reckon we've contributed to a couple of billion of business deals. We've been doing this for quite a while. I will stress at this point that a lot of timings move about. This is a thing you have to get used to. So I have a lot of slides and a short period, so I will skip through. If you want the slides afterwards, I will share them with anybody, but don't panic. We've been doing this for quite a while now. This is our 20th birthday, our 20th anniversary. Thank you very much. I think you'll agree I haven't changed a bit. This is me 20 years ago. Also, notably, the devices that we were covering have changed quite a bit. This is what the mobile phones and handheld consoles looked like when we got started. These are some of the big games that were dominating mobile phone games when we started. Digital Chocolate, EA, Gameloft, Glue. And this is what we look like. Apologies for that pixelation, but this is how we started. And it's a testament to how hard it was to make games and distribute games, that back in those days, we actually made printed guides to hand out to people to explain how to download mobile games. Now, I know this sounds a bit like an old man indulging in nostalgia, and that is a little bit of this, but there's a method to this madness of why I'm doing this, because I think it's important to understand how quickly things have evolved, and how quickly, looking ahead, things can change again. Back when we started, this was the video games market. 31 billion in 2005, according to reports. Some big console franchises. It was consoles, PlayStation 2, Xbox, PSP, and Nintendo DS, of course, dominating. But at the time when we started, mobile games especially was very hard. Like the market, trust me, I'd go to conferences like this about games, and people would be just miserable. They were saying, oh, the market's never going to work, we're never going to get ahead. And back then, I thought that was quite bad. Nowadays, we've absolutely mastered being miserable about the games market. Today, it feels like the games industry spends half its time sort of complaining about how hard things are. And to be fair, there have been setbacks. We've had issues with UA and marketing. We have the drop-off post-COVID. We've got a lot of competition from other platforms, so social media, video, etc. And also, we have competition from existing games. It's very hard to break through the existing games. So there are reasons why it is difficult, and there's been, sadly, a lot of people and companies have been lost, at least temporarily, in the last few years. So I don't take that lightly. Obviously, Xbox just added to that recently, with Microsoft added to that recently. However, we do also need to remember that the industry has accelerated at incredible speed over the last 20 years and continues to grow, which is something that even the incredible annual report from Matthew Ball, which I'll refer to a bit here, can't ignore. He has been quite churlish. This is the growth of the games industry. I will note here, Pocket Gamer launch, just saying. I'm not taking all the responsibility, but it was part of us. But yeah, Matthew Ball's quite churlish about the industry. Not too churlish to take a job at Xbox himself, of course. But this is it. This is the reality of where the market has been. This is Newzoo as their third or fourth reforecast of last year's numbers, saw it go over $200 billion globally. And to be honest, impressive as this is, that's not the full story, because Newzoo and a lot of the data we see doesn't include hardware sales, it doesn't include mobile advertising. So this here is another forecast which does include some of that, which saw last year around $263 billion global market. But I still don't think that's the full picture. As kind of PG Biz has been covering recently in various articles, the amount of bookings that go straight to D2C web stores is just absolutely kind of skyrocketing. You can see the numbers there. You can see the data here from Matthew. Some, the likes of SciPlay, huge, Stillfront, Playtika. Some people are saying they're making almost the same or more money off the app stores as they are inside it. And those numbers are not easy to see. You can't trace those data. So it's a big market, so no surprise that we are seeing so many great companies offer to help with web stores. Xsolla, who are the headline sponsor here, they do a great service. There are other vendors as well, but there's a lot of great companies vying for that. But this is kind of part of a bigger picture where you add in alternate app stores. I know in China you've had other app stores for a long time. Google Play is not the biggest, Apple's not the biggest. You have these other app stores. But elsewhere in the world, it's been dominated by Google and Apple and Steam. But more and more other app stores are coming to play. And this is kind of creating a distribution revolution that is creating new opportunities to developers all around the world. And later in one of our tracks, in the growth track, we'll be talking about some of those opportunities. And this also feeds into a wider topic about games everywhere, is what I call it, where everything is becoming a games platform. You've got Discord, WeChat, of course, even the New York Times or LinkedIn, a business platform that a lot of people use. And HTML5 browser gaming is getting ever better. There's also got TikTok minis and YouTube playables coming along. And you guys don't need to be told about this. WeChat mini games, according to some data I was looking at, made over $7.6 billion alone last year. That's a huge, huge amount. And as you can say, these are other platforms. You've got TikTok and YouTube playables, and obviously Netflix bringing games straight into the platform. And whatever media data you follow, there's no doubt games have been the biggest entertainment industry in the world for some time now. And our IP and technology is not only inspiring other industries, it's actively crossing over. Everyone wants a piece of the pie, whether it's movie studios, sports leagues, subscription TV channels. You can see other industries using our technology, like literally platforms like Unreal being used in the film production industry. Other YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, there are more hours spent watching games content than actually playing it. I think it was like 50 billion minutes in the last 12 months on YouTube content. The crossover between music and games has become bigger and bigger. There's more and more concerts around music games, like Clair Obscur, Stardew Valley, Resident Evil, Sonic, all had concerts recently. Big stars like Lana Del Rey and Korn are starring on tracks for Bond and for the Bond game and Diablo. And people like Wu-Tang Clan and Deadmau5 are making their own games. And of course, on the big screen, this is even more noticeable. The biggest stars and studios are lining up to appear in films and TV shows based on our game's IP, which in turn provide positive feedback loops. Sonic 3 was the biggest in the series. That's very unusual for series get bigger. It made almost $500 million at the box office. Microsoft Minecraft power-passed that from Microsoft, reaching 960 million, and then was beaten by Super Mario Brothers Galaxy with just over 1 billion, still short of the 1.3 billion that the original Super Mario's film made. We've got Resident Evil coming up, we've got Street Fighter, Angry Birds Volume 3, Sonic 4, The Legend of Zelda. There's TV shows like The Witcher, Last of Us and Fallout. Margot Robbie's production company's making The Sims. There's like 50 of projects we know about already in production. And it's not just film and TV, the apps business is taking note of us. There's a big increasing crossover with the apps industry. And some fronts, it seems like bad news. Sorry, it's a bit pixelated, but this shows that the apps revenue is overtaking games. But there's a lot more apps. And generally, it's really interesting, especially companies like Duolingo that are blending games techniques with their own apps. And ads, I've just mentioned ads, an ad slide. Obviously, the advertising market is a huge opportunity. It actually represents, this is from Matthew Ball's report, the biggest part of the growth in the games industry for the last few years, mobile games, and apps in other platforms ads in other platforms is getting bigger and bigger. One of the biggest segments in the app space is driving everything is of course AI, and this represents challenges and opportunities. In the Western markets, it's fair to say gamers don't like AI in games. There's a big backlash against any game that has AI. However, on the development side, it's kind of become table stakes, whether it's for quicker creation and iteration, smarter marketing, enabling whole new types of games. AI is essential. And we've got a whole mini-track, the AI Gamers Summit, happening this afternoon. I know ChinaJoy is full of AI as well. This is a huge, huge thing. And the Chinese companies, we did a story recently talking on PG Biz, talking about how Chinese companies are ahead of the game there. It's not directly AI related, but UGC is also a huge, huge trend, and it's being fueled by AI because creators can make games more quickly. And the scale of this is astonishing. If you look at Roblox, this is a lot of the games industry kind of peaked around COVID, but this is the Roblox engagement charts. And if you compare this against Netflix, which is the biggest kind of standard media channel outside things like YouTube now, that is the engagement of Roblox versus Netflix in the last sort of year. That's incredible. And you can see this is, versus every other platform, Roblox, is bigger than most combined. Even in individual games, individual Roblox games like Grow a Garden, Steal a Brainrot, Brookhaven, compete with things like Fortnite and the EFC for attention. And of course, there's lots of money being made. They've paid out over, I think, $1.5 billion in the last sort of 12 months alone to developers. So there's money to be made in UGC. And this kind of brings me into one of my favorite slides that I always like to show, and why I think people should be optimistic. The video games industry is incredibly good at adopting new technologies, new platforms, and you can see from here how we've grown as an industry. And obviously mobile is a big spike, but again and again we've adopted things. This only goes up to 2022, but obviously there'll be more added on top of that. You've got Web3, VR growing, UGC added to that would spike it again. And my challenge to you, which is, I didn't make this up, this is obviously Apple's logo, is that there is opportunity there. We just need to think a little bit different. Like, for instance, AAA, a lot of people can say the AAA industry is dead. That's not quite true, but a lot of big AAA console games have struggled, and some studios have disappeared in the last year. However, the flip side of that is indie games have had an absolute banner year. Multiple smaller, more agile titles have been succeeding and showing new ways to engage with players. Okay, I'm going to skip through now. Funding hasn't dried up entirely. It's just more difficult to get. Last year was a record for M&A in the games industry, 161 billion. And in the first half of the year so far, there's been 118 billion of game-related M&A activity already. Investment, admittedly, the number of investments have gone down. This is data from Drakestar, but the amount is there's still 2.5 billion invested in games in the last quarter alone. And I won't play it, but if you want to see who's spending money, go to Drakestar, and they tell you who the top investors, where they're investing, who's spending money. They also pointed out new funds have launched in the last quarter alone. Again, 2 billion worth of new funds. And even if you can't get VC funding, which is not as easy as it was in the COVID and pre-COVID days, there are other ways. There's publisher funding, there's UA as a service, there are other project funding, even government support is there. Yes. Okay, I need to skip through. Lots of other reasons to be cheerful. I've been given a minute. Yes, even GTA not coming out is a reason to be cheerful. So, I will skip through quickly. One thing to look at is why, this is an interesting thing from Matthew Ball report, just shows to think differently, think about different segments. And one of those is obviously geographically. I wanted to have a quick shout out to Southeast Asian market and to also to the Middle East, both fast-growing markets. So if you're looking for new opportunities, do look. You can look abroad. There are new markets growing rapidly. Obviously, the spend is different in different countries, and the handsets are different. But the opportunities are there. If you can make games work in different geos, people like SCA Garena do with Free Fire and PUBG Mobile from Tencent, you can make money. Ultimately, of course, and we'll get to it, the reason we're here is to focus on the Chinese market, and it's unarguable that China and its game makes in the ascendancy. They are the biggest, this is the biggest games market in the world now, according to Newsy last year. And Matthew Ball, again, if you go to his report, he talks a lot about the Chinese market, and he explains how China has basically dominated, you guys have dominated the growth of the industry for the last few years. And also, he's quite upbeat about the opportunities, particularly in the PC console sector. Matthew Ball sees a lot of opportunities for growth and continued growth there. I'm skipping through. We have a report. Grab one of those. That's some more data about the Chinese market. If you're even here, you might know it, but everyone else will be useful. And yes, and basically, we've been covering the Chinese market for a long time. We have been coming to China for a long time, and we've been running events here for a long time, since about 2008. And that's why we think that this is going to be the best year to be in gaming, and the best year to be in China. So yes, I do have a couple of very small things to point out, and I will move on. I just need to say, there's 4 tracks of content, and the A-Game Game Changer Summit. Videos are available online. There's a schedule online if you want to know what's going on. Meet to Match networking platform, please check in. There's over 600 people in there who want to meet you. Expo, you can see that. We've got the Big Indie Pitch happening. There's a Big Indie Showcase, 40 studios out there. And tonight, the event continues after hours with our party from 7:30, and we also have a mixer tomorrow night from 7 p.m. as well. So look online, you'll get details about that. There's help at reception. If you want to share, at PG Connects, I think it's on WeChat as well. You use that tag, log in, we know that. Quickly, final thing, can I have a big round of applause, please, for our headline sponsors, Xora, and Amazon Web Services as well. Also, platinum sponsors, M-Stars and 9, a gold sponsor, 2Bid, our silver sponsor, Adjo, our track sponsor, AudioMob, associate sponsors, lots of them, media partners, and, of course, our incredible speakers. Big round of applause for the incredible speakers. Thank you very much. And don't forget the Still Media team. Okay, right. There's more. If you enjoy this, we've got more to come in Cologne. We're running the Mobile Games Awards alongside Gamescom, and then we have PGC Nordics in Helsinki before Jordan, the Canary Islands, Montreal, and then return to London. And that is, sorry, I was over time, but that's enough of me. I would like to welcome to the stage Mikhail and Charles from My Games, our partners, please. Go, round of applause for these guys. Sorry, I was a bit over time, but thanks for patience. I said 10 minutes. It was like 10-ish. Sorry. That's okay.
Chris, you are amazing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So about
always say that. You can say it as long as you want. That's
yeah.
Good. Thanks. Cool.
I'd like to have some words in Chinese. Okay. Yeah.
Like?
尊敬的各位领导、各位嘉宾、各位朋友，大家上午好。我是维吾乐园总经理江国昌，非常高兴能够站在这里，代表本次大会的中方承办方向各位来宾表示热烈的欢迎以及衷心的感谢。本次 PGC 游戏产业联合大会是我们跟 BGC 密切合作，共同筹备的一个重要成果。也是我们持续深耕中国游戏市场、服务中外产业交流的又一次积极的实践。借助了 ChinaJoy 这个行业盛会的一个契机，我们希望与国内外的游戏企业搭建一个高效、专业、开放的交流合作平台。在此，我要特别感谢上海市浦东新区相关部门以及领导，长期以来一直对我们企业的关心与支持，也特别感谢各位嘉宾、各位合作伙伴长期以来的信任与陪伴。我们将继续的秉持合规、专业、开放的原则，为促进中外游戏产业的深度合作，贡献出自己的力量。最后，衷心祝愿本次大会取得圆满的成功，也祝愿各位嘉宾在上海，在CJ 期间收获满满。谢谢大家。Mika, yeah.
Thank you, Charles. On behalf of My Games, events like this are extremely important, and Pocket Gamer has been doing extremely good job on running these conferences globally for years and years already. With the meteoric rise of Chinese developers on a global stage, as well as the massive growth of the Chinese gaming industry, gaming market, and its importance to the international developers, it is perhaps more important than ever to have an event like this during China Joy Week, where international developers can come to meet with the Chinese developers and publishers. We can learn from each other, make connections, and initiate those great business deals. We are incredibly happy to be the local partner to bring the Pocket Gamer events to Shanghai for the second year now in a row. And of course, incredibly thankful for the support of the Pudong government. So please be welcome, please enjoy the event, make those connections, and have a fantastic week. Thank you.
Yeah.